Hey Wizards, I've got another deck for you today that is a lot of fun, probably not competitive enough to climb with though. This is Dimir Artifacts. It is really just playing as many artifacts as we can, controlling the board, and then hitting with Haunt the Network and the triggers off of Pactdoll Terror. So, Pactdoll Terror is a 3/4 for 4 artifact creature toy that when it enters, you gain 1 life, opponent loses 1 life every time an artifact enters, including itself. A lot of fun. Unfortunately, at common rate, or rather common rarity, the rate on this is not that great. We really wish this was a little bit cheaper than 4 mana. This coming out on the end of a turn means we really got to make it a couple of turns before we can really start doing things. Haunt the Network is a 5 mana, choose target opponent, create 2 Thopter artifact creatures. You gain X life, and opponent loses X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. This easily can do like 7 damage, drain 7. So huge, so much fun. And the rest of the deck is around getting to those kinds of numbers while being somewhat decent a deck if you never hint it. So in the 1-drop slot, we've got technically 3 steps ahead. This is just such a good blue counter card that if you're in control in blue, you're probably running this. We can copy one of our artifacts, we can counter target spells, we can draw cards, we can do all of that at the same time if it's late enough game and we have the mana. Hard to get away from this. If anything, I would add more counters, not remove these. Grim Bauble is just a 1 mana artifact that gives an opponent creature -2, -2, and we can sack it and surveil. Decent little card, does all the right things for us, so we'll go ahead and run it. The Last Ride, I've got 4 copies of this. At Mythic Rarity, though, I don't think it does enough that you should feel compelled to build this card. There are some other low-cost artifact creatures that if you don't have this, just drop this out and throw in another card. The big thing that this does, really 2 things. One, if you're low on life, the game is close, your opponent might swing for full board for you, you survive with like 2 HP, and then this thing is like a 11/11. Like, huge. This card can get absolutely huge. Most of the time, how we're playing this card, though, is as if it was an enchantment that had the line 2 and a black, pay 2 life, draw a card. It's not great, but at 1 mana, on your turn 1 when you have nothing else to do, it's fine. And of course, it does all the artifact triggers on things like Haunt the Network and Pactdoll Terror. Diversion Unit is a flying artifact creature for 2 in blue, 1 in a blue, and it has pay 1 blue, sacrifice this, counter target instant or sorcerer spell unless the controller plays 3. Pretty good. We canceled a Zombify with this. We've canceled a couple of other small things. And it's a 2/1 flying artifact, so it does all the things you need it to do in addition. You could go down on this, pull up Spell Pierces and maybe a different creature, but having what is essentially a counter target instance or sorcerer spell on a body is just too good to pass up, especially when that body has evasion. Tithing Blade, 2 mana, comes down, opponent sacrifices a creature, is really good, especially against some decks, and you can always get it to do a drain at the start of each upkeep if you have the time and space, and of course that card in exile, or in the graveyard rather. Wreckage Wickerfolk is just a good rate 1 black common that has flying, and when it enters, surveil 2. This lets you get artifacts into the graveyard for Tithing Blade or for Winter Cursed Rider. Winter Cursed Rider is a rare. We're just running 2 copies of them. You could go up to 3, I think, but you don't need to. And this has Ward Pay 2. All your artifacts get Ward Pay 2 life. And it has exhaustibility where you can exile X artifact cards from your graveyard and then board wipe every other non-artifact creature with that XX. This is pretty solid. I have not seen it actually do the board wipe for me. And so I put more cards to get stuff into the graveyard, specifically Wickerfolk. Bauble can do it. And that's really your only big ways of getting cards into the graveyard. So this is not a must-of play. It has a place, I think, in a perfect form of this deck, but don't go spending the rare wild cards on it. If you don't have them already, replace this with literally anything else. More Wickerfolks is fine. More Tithing Blades is fine. Another Grim Bauble is fine. Or there's plenty of 2 mana artifact creatures in this color set, blue-black Dimir. So definitely don't feel compelled to play this card and craft it, but I do think it has a place as your board wipe. Pactdoll Terror. Again, we've already talked about this card. This card is backbone of this deck. Oildeep Gearhulk. Love the art on this, the graffiti. I'm sure not everyone will. But at 2 blue, 2 black, artifact creature construct at mythic rarity, lifelink ward 1, 4/4, and when it enters, you may choose an opponent. They discard a card from their hand and then draw a card. It's really good for getting combos out of people's hands. You can also target yourself and get rid of a bad card that you have, put it into your grave card, and get a free draw. The lifelink in Ward 1 is also meaningful, especially in this deck where we don't have a lot of protection on our creatures outside of Winter Cursed Rider and this. And so this helps stick around, get you that lifelink, helps draw out the game just that little bit longer. Memory Guardian is just often a very cheap artifact creature flying, so it is 4 and a blue by default for a 3/4 flyer, but affinity for artifacts means that this can easily come down for just 1 blue, and then you're really, really happy with it. And then lands are really just whatever Verges and Dark Slick Shores you have. You can run the Scry, you can run the Surveil lands, they're fine. I'm running 22 lands now. I tried it at 24 initially because we have a kind of high end with the Haunt the Network. I think it was too many lands. My experience has found that the Memory Guardian is also often a 1. The other cards we need are 4 powers, and everything else is 2 or lower. It just ended up being that I was flooding out with mana and not doing actionable things. The big thing I think this deck is missing is card draw. And I'm not entirely sure how to get it. We are in blue, so we have lots of options for just baseline draw cards, discard cards. There's a package there. It's hard to figure out where that fits in with our artifacts. I think maybe you do drop the Cursed Rider and do the, what is it, Collector's Vault or something. This is definitely a deck I want to come back and experiment more with. I think there might be something here. I also think that we're probably missing a couple of sets before this is really, really good. That said, it's still a lot of fun. If you're not looking to climb and just looking to play fun cards, as late in a set like it is right now when I'm recording this, certainly a fun time. If you got the cards already, have fun. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the games. Last Ride, Memory Guardian, 3 steps ahead. It's all fine, but not amazing. In fact, it's probably too much land. Swamp comes down, Last Ride comes down. We find Cursed Rider for next turn. Cursed Rider's interesting, but he does need the creatures to be in exile for his effect to do anything. Lunar Convocation. This has been a little while. So this is the... This is the I want to give my enchantments to you deck, isn't it? Which means I need to hold up 3 steps ahead from turn 3 on. Do you already have it? No? Okay. No, it's not. Okay. It's a card. It's not the one that you just give to other people, though. I think we do still hold up 3 steps ahead and the Last Ride's trigger. See what they want to do. We're just going to both be paying life here. Gloomlake Verge. Okay. I don't think I want to drop Memory Guardian here. Like, it's tempting, but I really want to be able to hold up my 3 steps ahead. They're doing this draw for a reason. They're going to cast something. That's fine. Pass, pass. Trigger Last Ride effect. Go down to 16. Draw Oildeep Gearhulk. That's a good card. But we can't play it and hold up. So I guess we do Winter Cursed Rider. Keep 3 steps ahead. They do gain 1 life. If they want to kill this, pay the 2 life. I'm totally fine with that. Sonar Strike is fine. Pay that 2 life. They don't control bats, so they don't get the life. Outside of the 1 from Authority of Council, so Ward essentially costed 1. This is with Offspring. This is pretty big. I do think we have to counter this. Which really means I want to find another 3 steps ahead. We do find a Haunt the Network. I think we drop Oildeep here. See what their hand is. You'll get into life. Yeah, I think we gotta get rid of Bloodthirsty Conqueror here. Remove that combo piece for them, for now at least. And then next turn we'll try to haunt the network when we can. Okay, they do Mortify. That's not surprising. Ward 1, they can easily pay it. They can't really do anything else that turn, though, so that's not awful for us. Pactdoll Terror is, I think, a must-play card here. We're going to essentially nullify their Authority of Councils. Play the Memory Guardian now as well. They lose the same life they're gaining, but we now have 2 3/3s on the board. Starscape. The Authority Council is actually going to really mess us up a bit here. I think we do another Pactdoll Terror. And now we're really doing the thing. Do we keep doing it? I think so. Because now if they don't answer us, Haunt the Network just wins us the game, right? And we're essentially staying even because of the drain off the Pactdoll. Nice. And then if we can Haunt the Network next turn, we should just win. Like, this is a lot for them to handle. They do the Sonar Strike. They do gain some life. That's good for them. That will reduce my combat effectiveness a little bit. They get some of those triggers. They could potentially Mortify. They actually draw the card and lose 2 life. That's huge. I don't think we have lethal here, right? 5, and we're going to do 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. We have a drain 7 in the swing board. No, I think we... Oh, yeah, they get so many bats. Jesus. Okay. Our turn, Grim Bauble. We can do that first. 3, 5, 6, yeah. And I guess we'll kill off Starscape Cleric. And then I guess we can do a Haunt the Network. And then we still get 2 more, although they get the draws here. So this is actually equal. And then I think we can swing. They'll have to full block here. They have no other choice. Okay, they just decided to let it through. They had the last blocker. They could have blocked it, but... oh well. Yeah, cool. Good game. Deck did the thing. I wish Pactdoll was a little bit better of a card. It being common means that for the effect we're getting and the rate that the card is, just slightly skewed negative for it. But the artifacts enter, you gain 1 life, opponent lose 1 life, drain effect is really super crucial, I think, to the deck. But we really want this on like a 3 or 2 card body. Gearhulk is a ton of fun. I want to play this in more decks. I don't know what this gets played in. I don't think it's going to make the Esper bounce list, but it's fun. I love the art. 3 steps ahead, such a good card. Cursed Rider, Haunt the Network. Like, I feel like the tools are here, and we're just, like, looking for the last piece that makes the deck good. Dark Slick Shores, Island, Swamp, Bauble, Last Ride, Haunt the Network. Okay, I think we can play this. Opponent plays red into a research deck. Huh. Okay. I think we go Last Ride then. Pegasus the Mighty. Opponent reveals they're playing Boros Colors. Invasion. Okay. So what are you going to get rid of? Grim Bauble here? I've got lands. And a singular Haunt the Network coming for you way later in the game. Unfortunately, can't do the Last Ride's draw effect until turn 3. Okay, they do get rid of Haunt the Network. That's not terribly surprising, I think. We can play a Swamp Down. Really no point in playing the Grim Bauble yet. I'm going to wait and see one more turn if they've got creatures. I suppose the argument there is Memory Garden comes down for even cheaper. If we have the Grim Bauble already out, we can also always just sack it to Scry. So I don't know, maybe it's not worth waiting against a deck that hasn't shown new creatures. Okay, so they play Council of the Revival. Thopter Tribal. And yeah, I guess we got to play Grim Bauble, and we don't really like it. Like, we got nothing off of that. Next turn, we can play Oildeep or Memory Guardian, though. They exiled a Plains last turn with their effect. They get a Thopter. Thopter has haste. They discover 3. They immediately hit another research deck. Not the worst thing. They get a Thopter. They break Invasion. Jeez, they're doing things. What do we want to do ourselves? I guess it's Memory Guardian. The network does okay things, but it's a 7 cost now. Instead of its usual 5, which means it's going to come out way later than we'd like. So they're a play from exile. This is so weird. Okay. Dang, and they can just kill my Memory Guardian. Okay. Or no, they did 1 damage to it, 4 damage to me? Or something? Ah, yeah. Okay. They're cracking that guaranteed. They're gonna get some damage in on me. They should attack, yeah. Okay, I guess the best thing I can do here is block one of the 2/2s. Last ride triggers. I have no idea what this transforms into. Okay. Probably one of the most powerful Rawas cards I've ever seen. Yeah. I guess we play Gearhulk here. Get that 4 life back next turn by blocking. I mean, whatever we block, it gets killed by, though. So that's unfortunate. 3/5. We're also too far away from getting anything good here. That's not going to do us anything. Definitely not attacking. I guess it doesn't hurt to play the other last ride, just to get one in the graveyard, but... You know, we're just too many turns away from getting Halt the Network, even though it's a 6 trigger. Invasion comes down, they get to do the 4 damage to my face again. They can trigger the effect. They've got probably lethal on board. I'm down to 10. I can't block most of this. Still an Earth, which I think gives them another Thopter? No, but they can sacrifice it, and that'll give them another Thopter. If it's a land or something. Like, they can't play much. Yeah. Find an evasion, but this should just be lethal if they swing board. And they do. So I guess we'll... Oh, no. Actually, the lifelink might be important. I guess we can crew off the Memory Guardian. The biggest hitters are on the ground anyways. We'll block here, and we'll block here. And I'm pretty sure we're still dead, yeah? No? The lifelink was just enough. So it was. The last ride goes up to 11-17. Holy crap. Or 11-7. God dang it. We're going to get a huge stick of damage here. And in fact, we might have even been able to win. If we could have just played a Haunt the Network sooner. God dang. Okay. Kind of cool opponent deck. Definitely have not seen that before. GG. Arn the Betrayer. Okay, Temple of the Sea, Island, Swamp, Oildeep, Baubles, and the Last Ride. I think this is a keepable hand. The question for me, actually, is do we go Temple of Deceit first or Swamp into the Last Ride? I think Deceit is fine. Haunt the Network off the top. I think we keep that. We really want to see that card at some point. We don't actually have to win the game off the first one like we do in Draft. The opponent does nothing, so I think we go Last Ride here. The Baubles don't have Flash, unfortunately, but that's fine. They surveil one off the Shadowy Backstreet, do nothing. This is actually great for us thus far. I think we just take the turn to do draw a card off the Last Ride. Pactdoll Terror. Ooh, if we get a land next turn, that would be huge. Opponent plays removal for our Last Ride. That's fine. It did its job. It was an enchantment that got us one. We drop Pactdoll Terror now. Arguably the best common to come out of Aetherdrift. Maybe not strictly true, but it's a good common. Another Allegiance to Ashes. So they're probably some really control-y deck as well. Yeah. We have the 4 mana. I think we just play Oildeep. Target player. What do we want to get rid of here? Probably the Allegiance to Ashes. Sure, we'll get rid of the Legion's Ashes. We can't attack with them without triggering their other effect. It's fine. Leyline the Void. Doesn't really bother us. Swamp. I think we play... Ooh. We could 3 steps ahead and attack now and counter their card. Get 4 lifelink. I think that's probably better. Oh, they didn't leave up the mana. Duh. Alright, I'm going to Memory Guardian then. I don't know that we'll actually get to use the Grim Baubles. We'll play an island down. And I think we swing here. Opponent tries to exile our Oildeep. We'll let them go through the ward, and then we'll counter. Not on my watch. Ward 1. They pay the ward. 3 steps ahead. Counter. Can we create an... Oh, man. You're not unique? Heck yeah. Counter that. Get an additional Oildeep. Trigger again. Get rid of one of their gods. And they scoop. Yeah. Holy crap, that was great. We didn't even do the thing, but man. That playline was so much fun. Oh, give me the original artwork, too, on the Oildeep. Okay. Yeah, I see. God, I like that. I like the graffiti art. I can totally see how it would not be everyone's cup of tea. For me, oof, that is so good. Memory Guardian doing great things. We didn't even get to use our Grim Baubles, but, like, next turn, how much does this cost? 5? And we had 4, 5, 6 mana, so we could have dropped 1. So we would have had 4 artifacts. 5, 6 artifacts. Because this creates 2 more. So we would have had Drain 6 on board next turn as well. I don't remember if our damage went through here. But they were so dead. That was fantastic.